It's very dangerous to have too many young people unemployed, and we look at the situation in Spain and in Greece today where an incredible 2/3 are unemployed, and that must give very real worries for the future.
And you only have to look at the rise of the far right across Europe, including in the UK, as a direct output of there not being enough jobs available for particularly the young.
It's the emotional impact, it's the impact on relationships with family, self-esteem, confidence levels. So I think it can actually turn into a real downward spiral for people when, for months or even years, they're unable to find a job.
When I was at school, I didn't imagine that I'd be running my own business because it's not something that you're taught at school. Well, I kind of defied the odds because, I had 3 children. I brought them up on my own. I had my first one when I was 17. It's the fear of not having any money, because even just through networks and people that I speak to, the first thing they ask is, well, how would I manage without the money?
In the UK, it can be hard to get a bank loan if your first business has failed. In the US, it might be seen as actually you've had some key learnings from that, and we'll take that into consideration.
And one of the things that Startup Loan's very proud about is that we do target hard to reach people. So the number of people from the ethnic minorities who've been applying is much higher than you anticipate. Large numbers of people leaving the armed forces come forward. We're now targeting the prison population.
I actually believe that the target will be reached when the last person who wants to work for himself starts to do so. Once I'd got agreement in government that we were going to set up an outside company to run the whole program, I knew we needed an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur who not only was successful, but someone who was comfortable with media, could express his passion, particularly his or her passion, for working for yourselves and for encouraging others. If you want to work for yourself, you've really got to have 2 attributes. One is self-confidence, and the other is the desire to do it. You've got to be a person who sees the glass always as half full, not half empty. And in fact, I'll go further. I've never met a successful negative person.
I think Lord Young chose an entrepreneur to helm Startup Loans because an entrepreneur can understand what we're going through and how important this funding is to us.
James is a man looking for challenges and firsts, and he once expressed it to me, which was, again, late in the evening, which was, Luke, I hear what you're saying, but just imagine if we could do it. Just imagine the impact if you can help 20,000 people create businesses. 20,000 businesses, and imagine how many jobs that creates.
The first time James walked into my office, I knew I had him. Poor chap, he didn't know, and about a few minutes later, he suddenly found that he was in employment.
What I want to do is revolutionise the way entrepreneurship is seen in this country. I want to start 1,000 businesses, but it's never been done before. To start an organisation from scratch, with a board, with infrastructure, with distribution, how is that even possible? But more importantly, how am I going to do that in 3 months?
Post-financial crisis, the banks had stopped lending. James's big idea was that the state should step in and help by providing loans and business support to would-be entrepreneurs. Thought the idea was very smart. And then he said, and the target that I've sort of agreed with government at this stage is to prove this works, it has to be at scale. So that's 1,000 businesses in the next few months set up from scratch.
It's crazy, but I really wanted to make a difference. It really got me excited. This is exactly what turns me on.
You were trying to sort of create something when the media story had been set, but there was no infrastructure whatsoever to support it.
I'm backing people who've never done this before, risking £140 million. I had to find mentors who could compensate the lack of experience that these entrepreneurs had. Bev was the only person I could think of for the job.
Mentoring was seen as important or more important than the loan. That is number one. And then secondly, it's how do you match the right people?
My mentor helped me understand the commercial side of the business, the presentational side of a business plan, and how to know my numbers thoroughly. Having a mentor has been invaluable to me. In fact, my mentor is now my commercial director.
When that first loan was approved, I think a lot of people were really shocked because literally within 3 months, we'd launched the brand, we'd set up our own offices, we'd probably put together the best board I've ever seen of a startup business.
We were all aware when we started Startup Loans that we were a startup as well. So one of the benefits was we could move quickly. You know, if we failed fast, we'd fix things fast.
I think there have been a lot of turning points. When we have a big media campaign, when somebody talks well about the Startup Loan Company, if someone's on the radio, we have a turning point. But the occasion when the Prime Minister talked about it in Preston, we actually saw an enormous spike very, very quickly. And I think that just emphasised to us that there was a huge demand, there still is a huge demand for this, and the real success is getting that message over to the people that you might be able to help. That's what was achieved in Preston.
It generated a huge amount of media attention. At that point, I had to get Peter on board because now not only was I reporting to government, but I was reporting to the public about the success of startup loans.
I have a lot of experience in the banking world, and I've got a fair degree of experience in the media world, in managing media. And I think James thought that would be a very useful addition around the board table.
I had a day job, and startup loans literally was becoming a full-time job. I needed to find the best CEO who understood the banking sector.
I think I was selected mainly because the candidate they originally elected upon ran away screaming after 24 hours or so, saying it was too hard. So they had to find the sort of second tier, and I was obviously the runner-up and stayed.
The reputational risk for him was very, very substantial.
They said to me, I can't make any money, I can't charge a fee, I can't claim expenses, I can't even invest in any of the businesses. I can see no financial gain or benefit. However, what I can do is I can start 28,000 businesses. I can create jobs for thousands of people in this country. I can make a difference. That's why I did it.
Thinking Bob, I just knew it had legs. It was something that is incorporated in fabric society. It's doing something that is fundamentally good. It's helping people to make friends and discover whichever great city it's in.
My success with this project is to bring investment to London through the Ghost Station project. To bring the spirit back to Londoners, my startup loan was a large part of realising that.
Starting a business has changed my life immensely. Obviously, the demands of the business and family life and working as a nurse is completely new, but it's really interesting. Get to meet lots of new people and also provide NeoSlip to all the people who need it. And that's really rewarding.
But these people had their get up and go. They were filling out their business plans. They were working with their mentors. I think we are a nation of entrepreneurs. I think people do want to be in control of their own destiny. And if we give them the right tools and a mentor to help with the confidence, I think we can be way up there with the USA in terms of entrepreneurship. Why not?
If you just said how much for every pound that you give startup loans is created in economic value, then we create about £3 for every pound invested. If you went further and said, and add in additional tax revenues and unemployment benefit, then for every pound we get, we create about £5. So it is quite clear we do make a substantial profit for the UK government and at the same time bring a lot of happiness to people.
What's incredible is what we have today with startup loans is a blueprint. This is now ready to be rolled out throughout Europe, Asia, Australia. I'd like to see startup loans becoming the standard globally for people who want to start their own business. The thing that I'm really proud of is one of these days I can fast forward and any one of the businesses that I've backed in startup loans could become the next Microsoft. They could become household brands. That's what makes this so exciting.